Hey, True Believers, ENGLENTINE here with this week's countdown, and Marvel made a move. Now, granted, this is a 5th week, which is usually where DC shoves all their annuals and such. But still, Marvel made a move. For those new to this countdown, basically these are the books sold to customers. So we're really seeing what sells. This isn't like the Comic-Con, which sells to the stores. This is what is actually making it into the hands of the customers. And the list originates with Bleeding Cool, so by all means, take that as you will, with a grain of salt and whatnot. But anyway, let's get the countdown started. At number 10, Zatanna stars in Welcome to Mystic U. Number 9 is Ed Brubaker's Kill or Be Killed. 8 is Moon Knight's 189. Number 7 belongs to Batman Creature of the Night. Number 6 is X-Men Blue number 16. Number 5 is Hal Jordan and the Green Lanterns number 33. Number 4 is Old Man Logan number 31. Number 3 is Doomsday Clock number 1 in its 2nd week. Number 2 is Super Sons Annual number 1. And the number 1 comic book of the week is Batman Annual number 2. Gotta give credit where it's due. Bleeding Cool, of course, shouting out to all the comic shops here that help them out. And I said, hey, some of these have some good names, so why don't you guys shout out your comic shops that have some cool names? And some of you did. We've got, 5 of you here. So we got Acme Comics, but from Peoria, Illinois. Now, if I'm going to shout out an Acme Comics, there's one here in Longwood, Florida as well. Then we had Infinity Comics from Morrisville, PA. A couple of these from Pennsylvania. New Dimension Comics from Western Pennsylvania. And then my 2 favorite, one of which is a Green Lantern reference called Sector 2814 and Phantom of the Attic from Monroeville, Pennsylvania. I think Sector 2814 is my favorite. So yeah, give a shout out to your cool named comic shops around you. So anyway, let's get to the part that I really like, the part where everybody just comments on what sold during the week. Pretty light 5th week at FFF with annuals and books from previous weeks. 8 out of 10 from DC taking the majority of the spots in the top 10. The hot book this week was obviously the Batman Annual, which sold almost double of the next top book, which was Doomsday Clock on its 2nd week. Baby Teeth number 6 also made the top 10 again on its 2nd week at number 6. Unable to let a week go by without a top-selling metal book, Batman Who Laughs landed just behind Baby Teeth at number 7. Even with the lion's share of the books on the shelf this week, Marvel only had 1 book in our top 10, with X-Men Blue at number 10. Batman Creatures of the Night continues the new tradition of Elseworld Batman stories selling well. And personally, I can get into a new tradition of Batman Elseworld stories, or just Elseworld stories in general. Let's bring them on. Let's see other characters as well. That's what I say. Also, I am kind of surprised that it did not chart higher, Batman Creatures of the Night. Still, it does pretty well, and I guess that's all we can ask for. Marvel had a few more books in our store's top 20, but none of them sold stellar numbers. Moon Knight, Old Man Logan, Star Wars Mace Windu, and Darkhawk. What? All sold less than all of the DC annuals and Batman Creatures of the Night, showing us that people are willing to pay $1 more every so often if the content is actually decent. The fact that a Star Wars book didn't sell better is a little disconcerting. I get that it's not the main title, but Mace Windu is still a pretty popular character, and Denys Cowan art should be a draw for comic fans from the 80s and 90s, but apparently people care more about Aquaman and Green Arrow doing their best for the man who has everything. You know, the guy brings up Mace Windu, but Poe Dameron also came out this week and didn't even make it into the top 10, so yeah, Star Wars isn't always an infallible source for Marvel. It takes a 5th week for Marvel to chart so well these days. Although DC still beats them with the number 1 book, take a guess. And 5 charting books to Marvel's 4. Pleasantly surprised, though, to see the excellent new run of Moon Knight at number 2. I am hopeful that some of the better books in the Legacy Initiative will be noticed by our lapsed Marvel customers. That said, I don't see any upcoming Marvel releases coming close to competing with Metal, Doomsday Clock, nor the Batman family of books. I wish that wasn't true because we're definitely down this year, and Marvel is the main reason why. Fingers crossed 2018 will be better. It's sad that Marvel is affecting comic shops this way, and hopefully, yes, they will be able to recoup in 2018. However, I love the fact that we're seeing a shift to DC. I like comics from both, but I gotta say, I've been primarily a DC fan for pretty much about 30 years now. So, hey, okay, new leader in the industry. Sounds good to me. Spread out Marvel sales to the independents, that just makes it even better. Slow week after Thanksgiving. Batman Annual 2, of course, took the top spot. Marvel did get 2 titles into the top 10. John Wick, after what seems like many delays, finally made it in and made it into our top 10. Terrible sales, but for a 5th Wednesday, not surprising. Thought we might make up for it with trade sales, as is common with low output weeks, but nope. We did have great sales last weekend, so a lower than average Wednesday was again not surprising. Batman Annual destroyed, but Creatures of the Night didn't even make the top 10. Our list is typical, big 2 long box filler with 2 exceptions. Barely making the list and wouldn't come close on a normal week was John Wick #1, and at number 3 for the week was Kill or Be Killed, which made me very happy. Brubaker and Phillips can do no wrong. While still primarily Marvel and DC, we had somewhat more eclectic mix for our best sellers this week. Unsurprisingly, the much bandied about Batman Annual #2 was our top seller, while the juggernaut hit that is Doomsday Clock #1 sits comfortably at 2nd place in its 2nd week on the shelves. Now, I know personally I found both Doomsday Clock and John Wick to be just okay. But it is kind of fun and good to see that other people are getting excited, especially about John Wick. Doomsday Clock was a given, that's going to sell. But it's good to see any independent grabbing some people, because if you buy one independent, it might lead you to buy another, which could lead you to buy another, and that's never a bad thing. More interestingly, cult film hit turned comic book John Wick #1 did very well for us this week, and along with Kill or Be Killed #14, broke the usual Marvel DC chokehold on our weekly sales. The bottom half of our list is populated with exciting titles like Max Bemis' Moon Knight 189, as well as Kurt Busiek and John Paul Leon's fantastic Batman Creatures of the Night #1. Lastly, I think it's worth noting that despite a hefty $6 cover price, Mystic U #1 sold quite well for us. Looks like I jumped my gun on the commentary last time, because I could have added the Mystic U as another book that was just merely okay. I wanted that one to really shine, though, for being a book that stars Zatanna. Still, at least it sold well. That bodes well for maybe another miniseries or something that'll come along that could be better. DC and Batman won the week with the annual, as well as Creatures of the Night #1 topping our bestseller list this week. We had quite a few speculators buying the annual, but we were one of the few stores in our area to get our shipment on time, so that probably contributed to the demand. Doomsday Clock #1 is also still going strong, making a repeat appearance around the middle of our list. Only one Marvel comic, Mystic U #1, made our bestsellers list. I'll comment on that. Probably because Image turned out to be a big player this week. 5 Image titles made the top 10, 3 of which made the top 5, including the first issue of Gabriel Rodriguez's epic miniseries, Sword of the Ages. Nope, on second thought, I'm not really going to comment. Okay, Mystic U, obviously DC, Sword of the Ages is obviously IDW, but I'm not going to insult or anything, because I am a guy who put out a video about a DC comic book called Imaginary Fiends, but because inside it said Imaginary Friends a million times, when it came time to record the review video, I called that book Imaginary Friends every time out. Add that to my reads anime and watches manga brain farts, I have nothing to say about somebody who may get companies wrong. An unusual week with mostly annuals allowed a book that was released last week to chart for us. Number 6, Doomsday Clock, lenticular cover. I imagine if the other stores that are submitting their numbers still had this in stock, that it would have placed for them as well. All the Bleeding Cool articles about Batman Annual number 2 caused a run on the book. Luckily, DC announced a second printing for the first week in January to take care of anyone that didn't make it in the first week. I imagine will be sold out by next week. DC didn't even release 10 new superhero titles, and they still took 8 of our top 10 slots. With a 2-week-old book, Doomsday Clock, outselling every new Marvel, Dynamite hit our top 10 with John Wick number 1, which sold only 1 copy fewer than Marvel's Old Man Logan number 31. And that's what I'm talking about. Let the independents take the Marvel money that nobody wants to spend on them. You know, John Wick was pretty cool. Soon I'm going to be doing a Sword of the Ages number 1 video review for it, so I'm sure a handful of you will check that out, and I hope more than just a handful does, but yeah, what you gonna do. So those were the floppy charts. Let's check out the digital, since Marvel just kicks all kinds of ass on digital, according to Tommy Boy Brevoort. I take the top 10 list from Comixology, since they are the largest digital comic book shop. Number 10 is Jean Grey number 9. Number 9 is Star Wars Poe Dameron number 21. Number 8 goes to Old Man Logan number 31. Number 7 goes to X-Men Blue number 16. Number 6 belongs to Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 33. Number 5 goes to Super Sons Annual number 1. Number 4 goes to Injustice 2 Annual number 1, Wonder Woman's Injustice Origin. Injustice 2 rears its cool-ass head again with chapter number 34 at number 3. Number 2, however, belongs to Critical Role Vox Machina Origins number 3 from Dark Horse Comics. And number 1 shock surprise is Batman Annual number 2. I gotta admit, I did not expect to see a Dark Horse comic at number 2 on such a week as this. I mean, you know, okay, I thought Creature of the Night would take it. Maybe Doomsday Clock would be up there, but wow, very impressed. Gotta check this book out. Also, Marvel did take 4 of the top 10 spots. Granted, they're at the back, but still 4. That's the most they've had in a long time. They may actually be able to pull out a win on this week's top 20. At number 11 was the Green Arrow Annual number 1. Number 12 was the Aquaman Annual number 1. 13 goes to the Justice League of America number 1, or is it Justice League? Just name them the Outsiders, dude. Number 14 goes to Doomsday Clock number 1. So for those of you keeping count, so far DC has 9 in the top 14. In order to win, Marvel has to run the table. And Marvel screwed. Batman Creatures of the Night at number 15. Number 16 goes to Ed Brubaker's Killer Be Kill. Marvel Comics finally makes their 5th appearance in the top 20 with Star Wars Mace Windu. And in spite what the shopkeeper said, DC Comics takes it back with Welcome to Mystic U number 1. At number 19, Marvel makes their 6th appearance in the top 20 with Moon Knight number 189. Only to have an independent John Wick number 1 seal the deal on the top 20. So really, Marvel did not lose any ground. It's just they seem to be pushed back after their first 4 in the top 10. But they made 4 in the top 10, and that's the most they've had in a long time. But considering at number 20, it was only the 6th Marvel comic, I wondered, okay, so how far back do you have to go to find a Marvel top 10 digital comics? Well, their number 7 was Gwenpool number 26 at number 21, if all those numbers make sense. And I'll tell you, this probably is the best cover of the week. US Avengers number 12 was Marvel's 8th most popular digital comic at number 24. In 9th place for Marvel Comics is Secret Warriors number 9 at number 27. So it turns out that number 28 is the magical number for Marvel Comics to create a top 10 with Darkhawk number 51, a book that I think was just fine and dandy. And there you go, gang. That is the countdowns for digital and for the floppies as they're called. once again, DC's kicking everybody's ass, which isn't a bad thing. It's like I said, it's not so much that Marvel's falling. Okay, they do have some good books out there, but they're falling. That doesn't matter as much as, are the readers who stop reading Marvel stop reading comics? Can we direct them to DC? Can we direct them to independents? Anywhere to go other than out of the comic shop or off the digital sales. You know, of course, go to the comic shop, pick up your Funkos, pick up your trade paperbacks, pick up whatever. Just make sure you're keeping the brick and mortars open. Yeah, if you're digital, that's what I do. I buy floppies digital, but I do trade paperbacks and stuff like that. But yeah, we just have to make sure that even though people are getting tired of Marvel, they have somewhere to go. And this countdown shows that people are going to DC. They are going to independent comics. But that's just my opinion on the numbers game, my comments. What do you think? What do you think about the way things lined up? Did anything make the top 10 or 20 that surprised you? Anything that was left out that you were like, whoa, that was great. Why did it go so low? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like videos like this, hey, tell me also. Tell me that in the comments. I like compliments. But also, don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you haven't done that already, because that's always fun. Fun things happen around here. Also, this is the way we make our living, so if you don't mind, head on over to Patreon. Links in the description below. Drop $1 in the till. You know, we definitely appreciate everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers that know that it's not power that brought responsibility, but it's responsibility that brings power. It's knowing what needs to be done that brings strength and courage. Thank you very much for watching.